Good morning, happy Monday. My name is Scott and this is Crafted for Excellence. Yesterday morning I was working on camera at my church and I shifted my eye from the display screen on the camera and looked at stage, and the camera kind of went blurry and the stage became clear. It came into my field of view, and I kind of realized that you can't focus on more than one thing at a time. And to try out my theory, I focused on one point on stage for a while and everything around it became less clear, some of it completely out of focus. So what does this mean? How are we going to apply this? It means you can't focus on more than one thing at a time. You cannot focus on love and hate. You cannot focus on lack and prosperity. You cannot focus on stinginess and generosity. You cannot focus on lack and abundance. You cannot focus on two things at a time. So if you're experiencing lack, and most of us probably are, if you're experiencing a little bit of a setback, and many of us are, I know, we counter that by focusing on the provider. We counter that by focusing on God. We focus on His goodness. We focus on His truth. We focus on His giving nature. There is no way when you have God in your focus that you're going to be able to see with crystal clarity the issues and the problems that are in your life. They're still going to be there. You're still going to see them. They're not going to go away necessarily, but they're going to become less big. They're going to become less of an issue because you know where your abundance comes from. You know where your provision comes from. Years ago, when I got the news of my father's cancer, I could have approached that a couple of ways. I could have began to focus only on the situation at hand, or I could have chosen to focus on my provider. I could have chosen to focus on my comforter, and that is what I did. And I told God, even if He chose not to heal my father, that I would serve Him anyway. So aside from focusing on God, we need to make a conscious decision to follow Him and serve Him with everything we have, regardless of what happens and what comes into our lives. You know, I'm a minister. I'm not a pastor. I don't get paid because people tithe. Nobody donates to this channel, so I have nothing personally to gain from this. But you have everything to gain. And I'm going to say, if you're holding back your tithe, if you're holding back your gift, if you're holding back from giving to God financially, then you're much more apt to experience lack in your income, in your finances. I know it seems like a really, really big deal to give that money away when you're maybe already struggling, but God's math works different, and I can't explain it. It just does. But not only in your finances, but in your gifts, in your time, in your ability. Give of yourself. When you give of yourself to other people, something happens within you, and you begin, perspective changes. This past Saturday, many people went out. I stayed back at the church to work at a celebration of life service, a funeral. But many other people went out. Man, it was cold and windy, and they went out and they hit the streets. They gave food and clothing to the needy. And when you do that, when you do something like that, something happens within you. Maybe you do it at first just to make yourself feel better. But do it out of a heart of you want to give, out of a heart of you want to serve God. I promise you all this other stuff will be added to you. Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. What things? All these things. Prosperity, abundance, in joy, in peace of mind, in well-being, in health, in money, in time. You cannot focus on more than one thing at a time. If you're staring at your lack, you're never going to see your provider. If you're focusing on what you don't have rather than on what you do have, you're going to lose sight of the one who gives you all that you do have and all that you can have. I encourage you today, focus on God, focus on your provider, focus on what you do have, and what you lack will seem so much more insignificant. Thank you for spending some time with me. Thank you for being here with me this Monday morning. Be on the lookout on Crafted for Excellence for some exciting new changes. Huge stuff, but nothing is going to change the heart and the focus of this ministry. Be on the lookout for that, hopefully in the next few weeks. God bless you. Thank you for watching. I love you. I will see you next time. Bye.